Well, good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome once again to another episode of My Father's Business, sponsored by the Rapology Show. I know it's early, Saturday morning. Y'all get up before y'all go cut the grass, go get that Starbucks. Tune in because we got some information for y'all today that I'm sure somebody out there can use to help them move forward in their father's business. So before going any further, first thing I want to do is introduce my lovely co-host over here, Miss Jennifer Muhammad. Yes, I said Muhammad, so y'all looking just back up. We trying to send no texts and all that because we build text around this camp. Yes, and then we have our special guest over here, Miss Melissa Mayon. She's a well-founded BLS CPR instructor for Southern University of Nevada. She's the owner, she's the president, the CEO of, talk to him, this your show.
Moments of Peace Healthcare Services.
Yes. And it was it Rising Star?
The founder of Warriors Rising and the Fishbone Intercessors.
Yes, yes. So today we're talking about the importance of self-care, CPR, emergency rescue, and things that a lot of us take for granted. You know, like Melissa said when I first met her, you just never know what you need until you need it. Mm-hmm. So information like this is what we downplay it, but very few of us are equipped, even in the pulpit. If something happened in the church, in the parking lot while we praise and worship, passing out water, doing community service, somebody on call needs to be there until emergency rescue team can get there and get the people to the hospital or whatever. So my question to you is, out of all the things that African American women in the community are involved in, how did you get involved in this?
Well, healthcare and helping people has been, a part of my heart, just pulling on my heart since I've been a teenager. So when I turned 18 and was able to make a decision like, hey, what I want to do with life, I'm like, I want to help people. I know a lot of people may say that, but I wanted to help people in the aspect of saving lives, changing lives, making an impact in lives. So I started going into healthcare. I was a medical assistant. I then went into radiology. I nibbled and dabbed in radiology a little bit. I didn't go full force. I was a surgical tech. I worked in the operating room right alongside the doctors. I did everything but cut the patient when I was in the operating room. And I feel like I was strategically placed in that operating room just to pray because I've seen a lot. I had a lot of experience, even in my own family. My mom was sick, when I was in medical school. So it was just like everything was pulling me towards that. But my ultimate goal was always to have something that I can give my children, even before I had children. I had my oldest daughter at a very young age. So my goals was kind of like, I really want her to have something. But as life took its turn, I didn't really go in the direction that I needed to go until I started getting older. And through all of those experiences in the hospital and the medical, working with the pediatrics, I winded up just, putting my foot down. Mm-hmm. And I said, I had surgery in 2019. And after that surgery, I was like, you know what? I'm not going back to the operating room. God was pushing me. It's like, he told me it's time. You done had goals, you done had dreams. Let's fulfill those dreams. I got you. And when I heard that, I was like, whoa. You know what I mean? And I still was kind of lukewarm when that happened. Right. So I'm like, okay, God, I heard that thing clear. So let me get into it. Wow. So I just took off, and my aunt, she lives in Nevada, she is my partner in this business, and she had been doing this for 30 plus years. And we had been making plans as I was growing up talking about it. And one day I was out there visiting, and she was like, just speaking my language and saying the same things I was saying. And we was like, let's get this thing going now. Let's get this thing going now. Yeah. And there birthed Moments of Peace Healthcare Services.
Wow. So you're trying to tell the audience right here that Peter wasn't the only one that stepped out the boat.
He wasn't the only one. He wasn't the only one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So the message is, when God puts something on your heart, you feel a tugging and a call, step out on that. Just be courageous enough to be courageous. Yes. If you fail, you fail. At least you try. You never know.
That way.
You might win. What you got, Lady Jennifer?
Yeah, what you just said, to step out. When God puts something on your heart to do it. Don't be afraid to do it. And that's what you did. You stepped out. You heard the voice. You obeyed it.
And you obeyed it.
That's the part right there.
You obeyed it.
Yes.
That's that pivot.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
obedience.
Yeah.
And I have learned recently that the hearing God is attached to your obedience. And when I stepped out on faith, I did just that. When you talk about stepped out, I jumped out because for me, I was working. I had a position to where I was making a good amount of money. It was taking care of my family. I was, having fun, doing what I wanted to do. So me leaving that position, it was scary, So I did it afraid. I did it like unknowing, not knowing what was next, because I'm like, okay, God, I know I heard you, because the enemy now about to tell me to go do something that's going to prosper me. So I'm like, I know this is your voice. So when I stepped out, things just began. It was slow at first, but I went through a stage of the pruning, the priming, the stretching, having to have things removed so that he can add. And I'm like, okay. When you said do this, I'm thinking I'm about to just blow up, But he's like, no, I gotta concentrate. So when I went into that silent season, I'm like, it was hard, but I got so much. And then with healthcare, is you learn every day. When you work with people, every day is an experience for me. Every day that I fly over to Nevada and I teach at the school, I learn something every time. And it's like, even though I teach this on a daily, I still learn, because it's ever changing. So I'm excited about it.
And I want to put my disclaimer out there. You guys talked about obedience earlier, and hey, don't judge me. But look, when it comes to the CPR thing, I've been so disobedient. So on my job, before I came down here, when I was in Fort Worth, Dallas, I was the emergency rescue guy. I took I think for 4 hours, became it 2 Saturdays for 2 hours at a time, and they showed us how they had little plastic dummies, little mannequin. You can put your hand over the mouth to stand up. And lo and behold, so they bring me my little card to keep in my pocket. Lo and behold, maybe 2 weeks later, a guy falls off the truck.
Oh my goodness! And
they looking at me. So I'm like, you want to need some water, man? I'm like, best I can do is get you some water and try to call somebody to help you out, because So I apologize. I was disobedient on that. So I don't know what God was going to take me if I would obey, but I just couldn't do it. So my question is, what are some of your tips to give to people who feel like, you see a guy going to cardiac arrest, you just want them to hold on to, paramedics get there, whatever. Can you take us through some steps or give us some tips to help us get around that fear of, I don't want my mouth to touch his or hers, I don't know what they got, or whatever?
Absolutely. My first thing I would say is to get educated.
Like that.
You have to know, and it don't necessarily mean you don't have to have a degree, a doctorate, and RN or anything like that, but get educated on the signs, what to look for, because again, it can happen anywhere, anytime. We're walking through the mall and boom, you see somebody hit the floor, and you have to know what to look for. That person could be choking. That person could have a medical. Look for the bracelet that has their medical information on it. Look for breathing. Is their chest recoiling, which means going up and going down. If they're jerking, that's abnormal breathing. If your chest is not rising and falling normally, you look for those things. You're checking for a pulse. Everyone knows, even if you're not in the medical field, somehow, some way, you guys have encountered checking a pulse. So check for pulse. If they're foaming at the mouth, of course, nobody wants to put their mouth on someone that's foaming at the mouth. But again, that's where the education comes in, where you can use techniques to put your hands, because even as a medical professional, I don't walk around with a bag all day, every day with all my medical supplies. And if something occurs, I can't be like, okay, somebody go find me a mouth guard or a piece. No, that person's life is at stake. And another thing that I would say is value life. If you value life, that is your why to want to save a life. If I see, God forbid, one of you collapse right now, I'm going to spring into action. Remember, we're human. So you're going to have adrenaline. It may be some fear, because that's a scary thing when somebody falls out or something, emergency situation is happening. But for me, I feel like I work very good under pressure. But, my best advice would be to educate yourself. And don't be afraid. If you encounter somebody that has passed out and you feel like, and you don't know CPR, you're not trained in CPR, call for help. 911 is your friend. They will walk you through it step by step. If you get 911 on the phone and you let them know, hey, I am not CPR trained. I just witnessed such and such fall out on the floor. This is her post. This is this. They will walk you through it. Following instructions very well. And then those experiences tend, for me personally, they make me want to be better.
Mhm.
So that's going to encourage you to go get that information. Why did this happen? What could I have done better? Or, to help save this life? Because when you save a life, it hit different.
Yeah.
It hit different. Especially, we being about our Father's business. We in the spirit with it, but in the natural, there's still work to be done as well. But we led by the Spirit.
Right.
You see what I mean? So, I'm just so excited.
Yeah.
About saving lives.
Let me ask you this. So when you actually bring somebody back and you just give them that extra adrenaline they need to hold on, and they make it, that make you feel like that put the S on your chest, don't tell you.
Man, it put an S on my chest. I got that little Popeye arm going. I'm like, I get excited, you know what I mean? Because going into it, I know I had the strength of the Lord behind me.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it on my own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I knew it was because of my training. And then when you save a life, it's like that person is so grateful.
Yes.
The gratitude is there, and it's like, yes, and then you become, I wouldn't say friends, but you just become endowed with that person. Because especially, like I said, when I worked in the operating room, a lot of people, I was the first line that they talk to. So when they come in, I will be prepping them up before they get intubated. And most of those people, they will literally tell you their life story in 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. How many kids they got, how many grandkids they got, their plans when they come out of there, all of these things. And every time I would receive that, I was always led to pray. I done held up whole operating rooms for prayer. Because when God say move, you gotta move.
Yes.
Even the ones that didn't believe in there, they was in there. Okay, yep, agreeing, touching and agreeing. And even though that prayer went forth, some of those people didn't come out. Mm-hmm. So I would talk to them, fellowship with them right before they got intubated, and they would flatline right in front of me. Mm-hmm. So I know now that I was an aide. I was placed there to allow or to help them with their transition. Mm-hmm. Make sure they know who was in control before they met them. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it does put an S on my chest, but that S on my chest, I'm going to use it to glorify God because it's not about Melissa.
Yes.
I'm just a vessel, a willing vessel.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Wow. You got anything?
So do you go inside the schools as well? So tell us some of the places that you train.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. We go inside the schools, all healthcare professionals, the hospital, the doctor's office, pediatric. We're doing lifeguards, firefighters, the doctors. We're doing the youth. I just launched a youth class that will allow the youth from, we're going as young as 9 to 18. Got you. 9 to 18 is called Tender Rescuers, and it allowed the youth to be educated first and foremost. They're learning the signs because a lot of our youth, you'll be surprised how many youth are actually taking care of their elderly grandparents or their parents, and they don't know. They're just placed there like, hey, mama got to work. I need you to watch over your grandmother or your grandfather. And if something happened, of course they know to call 911. But what is happening in the midst of between the 911 call and before the paramedics get there? So we're everywhere. We're at the daycares. We're at we come to your job. We're mobile. We're a mobile entity. So wherever it is you need us to be, we will be there. And a major thing that we're pulling on right now is the leadership in churches. Everybody has TikTok. Everybody has Facebook. All these videos are popping up where the pastor is literally sitting in a pulpit and he is preaching and he boom falls dead. Mm-hmm. And everybody's just like, oh my God, what is going on? Nobody's springing into action. Nobody is, they're scared. Versus, let me check for breathing. Let me call 911, get an AED. None of those things. They're just like, oh my God, I'm afraid. But ask yourself a question. How good would you feel for your children, for just one person in your child's circle? Because we know they got multiple circles, fortunately and unfortunately. Yeah. One person in each of those circles, that's a lifesaver. How much better would you feel about that? When you go to church, at least 2 people in your ministry know how to save a life, know how to spring into action, know what to look for. When we go out to eat and fellowship, have a business meeting, and someone across, or you don't even know, get to choking, how much better would you feel if you knew you had someone, or yourself, you knew something that would save a life? So we're trying to get into the community. Our goal is to get into the community and help to educate, to allow people to get an understanding of what saving a life really means. It's very cliche. Oh, we lifesavers, but can you recognize what's going on? Can you act in a emergency situation without, feeling like I'm too nervous to do this? Can you talk to the 911 personnel on the phone? Can you explain what's going on? Not only that, can you pray in the midst of it all?
Wow, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
Can you pray?
Yeah.
Can you call on the Most High to give you guidance in this? Because technology, let's be real, technology, I can call 911 right now. They could put me on hold.
Yeah.
Depending on what area you in, where about you are, they can put you on hold. But I know somebody that's gonna answer every time.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's where we at. We everywhere. We trying to put our hands in everything, but we're doing it by the leading of God. We don't want to go, too many places to where God is not sending us. Wherever God sends us is where we're gonna go. But for the main part, schools, offices, daycares, your home, your workplace. We're trying to get into the libraries. We're conjuring up. I'm sorry. Let me not use that word conjuring. My sister gonna give me. We are rallying up some proposals now to send out to the community, because the schools, they're teaching our children how to have sex
Make it plain.
safely.
Come on, man.
Right.
But there's more teen pregnancies than there are lifesavers.
Wow.
So if we could teach our children how to fornicate, which that's not what we're supposed to be doing, we're trying to keep them away from that. We can teach our children how to save lives.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So we're getting some proposals together right now as we speak to come to the school districts and say, hey, we want to implement this in the curriculum. You know what I mean? Even if you don't have to change your curriculum, we want this to be, we want a contract in. If we got to come and volunteer, we're going to have some lifesavers on our hands. So.
I like that. I remember one time my son, I think he was like about 3, and I take those CPR classes all the time, and he was choking on a piece of ice. And you know what I did? I just took my finger. Everybody around me was just like, oh my God. My sisters and them, but I didn't panic.
See?
I didn't panic. I remember just doing something to him, and then the ice just came out of his mouth.
See?
Yeah, and I didn't panic.
That's important.
It's important, because what you're saying, people screaming. It's like, no, you don't panic in those situations.
Exactly.
You don't.
And if you have the knowledge of those things, you won't panic, because I want to say the knowledge, I want the confidence behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's one thing to be pressing on a mannequin. We pressing all day on mannequins.
Yes.
That mannequin can't talk back. That mannequin put on the shelf, come back. When we talk about a real life person, if you're confident and you're doing this, and I'm not saying doing it daily, because when you learn the class, nobody's going to come back daily.
Right.
But again, the medical field is ever changing. So another word of advice that I would give to you guys is, when you educate yourself, keep up on the education, because it changes. I want to say every 90 days something is new, something is added. So y'all love YouTube, tap in.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is type in, how do I save a life doing CPR?
Yeah.
And I promise you, it's gonna show something that didn't show before. So just keep up on it.
But if you really want to be informed, go to YouTube, tap in Melissa Mayon. Get her education on how to do this thing.
Got you.
Yes. So let me ask you a question. So you spoke about earlier about pressing on the chest. Correct me if I'm wrong. So for those who just really want to know, so would you use this part of your lower hand and not the actual palm?
No, you will actually use your palm of your hand. You will put the palm of your hand down in between the nipple line. It's the nipple line and the breastplate. You'll put it on the nipple line, and then you'll put your other hand over it, and then you will want to make sure that your arms are locked. Because some people, mind if I stand up? So some people, they have their arms like this, and they're just pressing, pressing. but you want to get all of that weight, because what you're doing is you're pumping the heart. So if somebody's heart stops, you want to put the palm of their hand down, place this hand over, lock those arms, so all of that momentum is coming down, 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 you know, and it's keeping that heart pumping. So the goal is to keep the oxygenated blood flowing from the heart to the brain, and you cannot stop.
And you have to press hard enough that I was told that you got to press hard enough to where you almost, it sounds like you may even crack a rib.
Yes,
Yeah.
hard and fast. That's what
Yes.
we teach, hard and fast, because like again, it's only so you have to do 100 to 121 per second pumps on that heart, because if you stop less than 10 seconds, it's being damage done to the brain. So hard and fast, you have to pump hard. And I always, like you said, put a disclaimer out there. I always teach, if you start CPR on anybody, if you encounter a situation and someone, you decide, hey, I'm about to try to aid in saving this person's life, you cannot stop until emergency personnel gets there. Because in some states, not all, this is why you have to be educated, in some states you can be held accountable if that person does not make it. And it's not a matter of because it's your fault. It's because you started.
You started it, yeah.
You started. And if you ever are in a situation and you cannot finish, because saving a life is hard work. You could be in the gym 5 days a week, and I promise you, you're gonna feel like you didn't fought 3 bouts in the ring, because it is hard work. 2 minutes of CPR will have you so winded, and that's only 5 cycles. That's only 5 cycles, 2 minutes. So just imagine if we live in an area where the ambulance don't get there until 10 minutes. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Hey, you and the black shirt, can you go call 911? Multiple calls to 911. It'll speed up the process. Does anybody know CPR? I need some help.
You know what? You said they don't teach you that. That's the first time I heard that about don't stop.
Stop.
They don't. This is the first time. You know, I heard. You know, you stay there with the person until the emergency comes. I never heard don't stop. But you'll get tired.
Well, that's synonymous to say you qualified to save a life. You know, certified will have you hit that credentials just like you have, and someone passes on, you just like, oh, and you stand there and don't do anything. Same thing, you can be held accountable. If that
Absolutely not. You have the right.
Oh.
Would you if you become an instructor? I'm sorry, not instructor, but if you become a lifesaver, you're certified in BLS. You don't have to. It's a choice, and they teach you that. So you won't be held accountable. So if I'm the police and someone passed out, I come on the scene. Hey, what happened? What happened? They're not just going to be like, which one of you guys are certified? You know what I mean?
Right.
Even though you are certified, that's why it's always a choice. If you are confident that you can save that life, but I mean, if you get trained in these things, I don't see why wouldn't you spring into action. But that's a good question, because somebody might freeze up like, oh my goodness, you know, I don't know what to do. Even though I've been trained, I don't know what to do. But that's why I said, if you decide to do that, don't stop. But if you are not confident that you can complete the task, don't start. Don't start. Go get help. You're more valuable or you're more of an asset to go get help. Call 911, get an AED, find somebody who can spring into action versus start and you like you freezing up, because then you got 2 people laid out.
So you said for the women, you would place the palm underneath the breast. I thought the men was like right here on the esophagus area.
Well, it's
I guess because the breast would be
you
there.
want to do the nipple line, because you don't want to go. It depends on the body structure as well. You don't want to crack their sternum or crack their breastplate. So you want to be right above that heart, because most people don't know that, they go off, okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, put your hand over your heart, when your heart is placed right here in the middle of your chest, you know what I mean? So everybody's like, they pumping over here. Sorry, your heart is a little bit this way, we need to put it in the GPS type of thing. So that's why we teach the breast line above the breastplate. I mean, the breastbone.
Okay. So how many pumps in between when you're supposed to blow the air, try to get air into the lungs?
So the ratio is 30 compressions to 2 breaths. So you hit 30, and you want to, we teach the rhythm, because it's a rhythm, because you just can't be like 1, 2. No, you got to keep that heart pumping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way to 30. And between those compressions, you're going to do 2 breaths. And when I say 2 breaths, I mean 2 full breaths. So the breaths, you want them to be at least 1 second. And I don't mean like 1, 2. It's like 1, 2, because when you're giving that breath, your head should be angled at a position to where you can see the chest rise. That's how you know you're doing it correctly. So if this is the head right here, and that body is laid this way, and I'm pumping that chest, when I give a breath, I want to be looking that way to make sure that breath is getting in there correctly, because you'll see that chest rise. And in infants, you'll see the stomach come out on the side.
Well, let me ask you this. So, I was just walking down the street and finna go over to this little Dairy Queen right here, and I seen old Ed. Old Ed, old I know, but he's a good old man. You know, grew up, just took the wrong turn in life. You know, decided, you know, give his life over to drinking. He passed out in front of me. I want to help Ed. I ain't got a problem with the compression, but I don't know about blowing the breath on Ed. I'm looking right there. Are there procedures I can take to help on Ed?
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. First thing, call on the name of the Lord. And I want to be very specific and to say, you do not have to put your mouth on anybody to save their life. We teach that.
Yes.
You do not have to do mouth to mouth. And if so, we teach you barriers. Like if you feel like you absolutely they have to have breath, we teach compressions only. But there is a barrier. If you put your hands like this down, you can put your mouth and give them a breath like that. And we teach those. They're called special circumstances. Okay. So, but again, you do not have to put your mouth on anybody to save a life. We teach compression only CPR. And that as long as that that oxygen is flowing to that brain and that blood is flowing to that brain, they're going to be okay.
So Ed might stand on a chance.
He got a chance. A better chance than not.
Yeah, right?
How long you been doing
the CPR? I've been doing CPR for almost 2 years. Like into my business, it's been a year. But 2 years full-fledged, not like getting myself educated, actually like practicing and doing it in the field, doing it 2 years. But my whole medical career, I've been in the medical field for 18 plus years, and I've had to do CPR. I had to, even though before I educated myself on it, I wasn't very knowledgeable of like the in-depth about the CPR. So it was like I was trained to do it because I worked in the medical field. But then now it's like, okay, now I want to educate people, so I have to learn. So about 2 years now.
Okay. That's what's up. So talk to me. You got some cards and flashcards and things out. What you got going on?
See, we didn't really cover all of this. I didn't really, we didn't really cover all this. I winged it, and we just said all of it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So
I just wanted to make sure I was on point for the audience. They end up getting the right information.
That's right. That's right. There's nothing wrong with being prepared.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So tell us, what you got coming up? What you got going on?
Man, we have a lot of things coming up. We have some community events that's going to be launching really, really soon. I'm excited about it because, again, we just launched that youth class, which is called Tender Rescuers. Our goal is to really train and educate our youth on saving lives, because it's not just if they have an elderly parent or elderly, loved one. We got sports teams. Our kids are playing sports. And we've heard the stories. They've been out there in the heat, one that passed out. Young people are dying in the sun. You know what I mean? Going into cardiac arrest, not knowing that they had heart issues. Yeah. It would bring my heart such great joy which my daughters, they do, but for my daughters to be in position to help someone, or your child to be in position to spring into action. So we have some community events coming up. We have some hiring events coming up. If you want to learn how to be an instructor or teach being a lifesaver, we have those coming up. We're partnering, doing a lot of things with schools. We're partnering with the state. We're trying to get in and take over some homes. We taking possession of the land in this season. And I'm saying that because that's just the educational part. We have, we nibble and dab in the home health care. We're in homes of our seniors. So we take care of our seniors, and we're trying to do senior events. We're trying to go into those places in the community that needs healing, because we have mental first aid with the youth and the adults. So, and then we have social services now. I have a bachelor's in biblical studies, which allows me to offer social services, which was like counseling, not so more of a chaplain, but it falls under chaplain, but just kind of ministering and uplifting and talking to the youth,
Mhm.
allowing a safe space for the youth to come in to speak. Hey, I'm feeling this type of way, even if they sit there and be quiet
Mhm.
until they're ready to talk.
Right.
We know when quiet comes, it's time to pray.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So we have our hand in a lot of things, and if you guys are interested, please just stay on the lookout. You know, we have a website, www.momentsofpeacehealthcareservices.com. We also have our Facebook pages, momentsofpeace.com. We are in 3 states now, and like I said, we trying to take possession of the land that the Lord has promised our forefathers.
Yes.
So right now we're in Houston, we're in Vegas, we're in Los Angeles, and we coming for your city next. So get prepared. So get prepared.
Yes.
So stay
Yes.
ready. If you ain't ready, get ready. And
Yes.
our focus is really on the ministry right now.
Yes.
We're in a season of the ministries. We're trying to get into churches, get at least at bare minimum a leader out of each ministry.
Yes.
Because you know you have your leader ministry,
That's right.
your
That's
meetings,
right.
and all of the different things. It can happen anywhere, anytime, guys.
Mhm.
Let's get prepared. The pastors, jump on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Again, the schools, we doing the summer programs, sports organizations, all of those things. So look out in all areas for those things. And for any reason you just cannot wait to get it in right now, I need to talk to you before I get done watching this live or this feed.
Yeah.
832-216-3194. Text that number. Text the word lifesaver to 832-216-3194. And I will make contact with you within 24 hours, and we're going to get you to be a lifesaver.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
right.
that.
So for the youth,
Mhm.
what's the age group?
So the age is, American Heart Association guidelines is 11 and up.
Okay.
With the parental consent.
Okay.
But our programs are 9 and up, because you have some mature, youth.
Yeah.
So we're doing 9 and up, but with the younger ones, they have to take a test after they learn everything. So we kind of just tailor it to them, to where we'll sit down with the younger ones and go over questions with them so that they are able to pass the test. But it's a matter of the technique. So it's 9 and above, 9 and
Okay.
up. Mm-hmm.
And and I like what you said about getting the ministry involved in the
Yeah.
church, because I was thinking about all that energy they exert and burn in the praise and worship team. Woo! Anything can happen up there.
Mm-hmm.
On that floor while they praise and worship, I was on the camera a couple weeks ago, and my wife was praising and worshiping. The pastor came off the pulpit, ran out to the street. I'm trying to follow him. I'm like, oh man, I'm almost 60 years old. Then when I got there, he decided he gonna go back in the church. I'm like, oh, dude, you doing too much moving right now. But yeah, that is so important, and it goes back to what I was saying earlier. You never know what you need until you need it.
Until you need it. That's your breath, please.
Yeah, I'm like,
And the
oh.
helping hand.
Yeah.
That's so true what you said, because I'm actually on the praise and worship team at my church. And when I tell you certain songs that we be singing, I'm just like praying in the back, like, Lord, I'm gonna need you right now. I'm gonna need you right now, because you hitting them high notes coming down, and the spirit falling, you intake and outtake.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
Yeah.
And you just never know what a person's medical situation is.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to know what to look for. If somebody, especially if you're around these people every day. I see you every Sunday, or I'm fellowshipping with you during the week. I know when you're off. You're sweating profusely.
Mhm.
Your breathing is off. You keep complaining about being nauseous. You know what I mean? And just some of these things, your shortness of breath. And then you're not a heavy person, but your shortness of breath, when you're talking to me, you can barely talk right. You have heart palpitations. All of those things are things to look for. And, ask. I'd rather you ask. That's just like people saying, you see an overweight woman, oh, how far along are you? People take offense to that. And I'm only using that as an example, ladies, because you rather ask and know versus making a guess and you don't know. And then something happens like, man, I should have asked.
Yeah.
Man, I should have, jumped into action. So,
Yeah. Okay. Anything? So if I'm in the mall and I'm strolling along one of my business, I see a guy or a young lady sitting on one of the flower pots, in the middle of the mall, and they're going through it, they're leaning, they like they're having respiratory problems. I don't know if they got asthma, I don't know if they have a moment. If I'm not trained and I still stop and ask you, okay, you good, man, what's going on? My first thing should be try to call 911, get somebody help instead of trying to help myself, knowing that I'm not qualified or trained in the area.
Right. I mean, that's correct. If you know you're not trained in that area, you definitely want to get 911 on the phone. You know what I mean? If you see somebody going through something and they're unresponsive, now if they're able to respond to you, like, I mean, I'm having some chest pain on my stomach, you know, my head, or whatever it may be, still call 911. If it's anything other than less than highly favored, or I'm having a great day, it's spring outside, the sun is out, the sky is blue. You know, if they don't have the answer, if it's like, you know something is wrong, and you ask them, is it okay if I call help? You know, even if they say no, if you use discernment, because sometimes people, they don't want help. You know what I mean? They want to try to figure it out and make, my stomach just hurting a little bit, or my heart, or my arm. You know what I mean? Things of that nature. But ask them, hey, are you okay? You don't look okay. Are you okay? Are you sure? You know, I can call 911. I can get help for you. You know what I mean? And if you are a lifesaver and you recognize those things, hey, my name is Melissa. I'm an instructor. I'm in the health field. Give them your credentials so they feel comfortable with opening up about their medical situation, and then still call 911. 911 is your best friend in an emergency situation. You want to get them on there as soon as possible. I have a young lady here. She's having heart issues. She's breathing. Her breathing is short. Her pulse is faint. She's sweating. You know, give them everything, and they will literally, they're trained. They will walk you through it step by step.
Nice. So, give the audience your contact information one more time.
Contact information. Okay, the 888 number, call ASAP. If you want to be an instructor, if you want to be a lifesaver, if you have people that you know that needs home health care services, if you have VA people that you know, our veterans, we're serving our veterans. If you have some contracts, if you want to hold hand in hand with us and get this thing going in our community, call us 888-339-0597, extension 1, extension 2 for Las Vegas, and extension 3 for LA. And then also you can contact us via email, gmail.com, which is momentsofpeace7223@gmail.com, or you can go on our website, www.momentsofpeacehealthcareservices.com. If you don't want to go through all that, that's too much typing, just text Lifesaver to 832-216-3194. That is the best version. Just text, hey, I'm ready, Lifesaver, let's go. I'll know that you're ready. 832-216-3194.
And if you just had to go try to get them pork chops and them ribs ready for 1 o'clock, and you had to dip out and you missed a little bit of this here, guess what? Because we're about our Father's business, and we know that next week is Mother's Day, and we probably won't be here, but we're going to honor our mothers. This is what we're going to do for y'all. We're going to host her one more time on CL Radio Live at 1 o'clock today on our radio show. So, hey, if you missed us live, you can catch us by air in about another hour and a half or 2 hours. Until then, we are